Good evening. We're so glad to have you here tonight. I'm Hal Higdon, Chancellor of Ozarks Technical Community College, and it's our pleasure to welcome you to the 2019 OTC Middle College graduation. It's a special night for us, and it's great to see a packed house. The OTC Middle College is very dear to me. When I came here in 2006, the then superintendent of Springfield Public Schools came to us and looked for a way that we could really work with students to get them engaged in a career early in their high school career and get them on campus and get them successful. Since that time, it's expanded to other school districts, as you know, and I'm really excited about a couple of things tonight. First of all, once again, all of our seniors are graduating. Congratulations, seniors. And I'm really excited now to have our first 4 middle college students graduate with their high school diploma and their college associate degree at the same time. Congratulations. I did want to recognize that we have some members of the OTC Board of Trustees here tonight. We have our chair of the board, Jennifer Canale, vice chair, John Gentry, and member, Mr. J. Howard Fisk. I also noticed that Tim Rosenberry is here from the Springfield Public Schools Board, and we appreciate having you here, Tim. Let's give these folks a nice hand. Before I turn the program over to Dr. Bruner and we'll get this going, I want to thank our superintendents who are on the stage with us. Thank you for your support of your students, for spending the money to send your students to the middle college, for spending your time and putting your faith in OTC and these students and our faculty and your faculty. So thank you, superintendents, and thank you.
Good evening. I'm Tiffany Bruner, Director of Middle College. It is my great honor and pleasure to serve as the director. The year of 2019 for Middle College is a big year to celebrate. This is the 10th anniversary of the first graduating class and the largest graduating class of seniors. PBS has completed a national documentary showcasing middle college students and the impact our school has, not only in Southwest Missouri, but as a model for others to replicate across the nation. We are so fortunate to live in a community where these wonderful opportunities for education exist. We would like to thank Dr. Hal Higdon, who implemented the one and only middle college in the state of Missouri. We also need to graciously thank our partners in education, Dr. Jungman, Dr. Wistrom, and Dr. Randalls for sending students to middle college. This type of collaboration is quite unique, and because of these educational opportunities, our students are put on a path to success. As college students, collectively, the senior class has accumulated over 2,000 college hours, and for the first time ever, several middle college students are graduating with an Associate of Arts degree. All of these wonderful celebrations are directly connected to the people who support, encourage, and motivate our students. When your science teacher turns your classroom into a surgical laboratory or designs colonies to live on Mars, you build a collection of inquiring minds. When your English teacher instructs you on virtuosity and chivalry and helping others, this becomes an education for future relationships. When your history teacher drives you to the Truman Library on winter break to make history come alive, you're connecting with government. And your PE class is a summer camp, and you go hiking, fishing, and canoeing, you develop a great appreciation for the Ozarks outdoor life. And your math teacher shows movies and eats lunch with you any day or every day. You develop connections and support for each other. Our office is a hub of activities most days, with students coming in needing food, coffee, a hug, or just an attentive listener. Over 2,000 years ago, Aristotle said, educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. We are committed at Middle College to educating both the heart and the mind. So if you work on behalf of students, please stand and be recognized at this time. Parenting isn't a noun, it's a verb. Your child doesn't come with an instruction book and explanations. Parents do the best they can with what they know. Ultimately, your success is our success. Your heartbreak is our heartbreak. Your future ideas is the future that we want for you. Behind every child who believes in themselves is a loved one who believed first. Parents, grandparents, and loved ones, please stand and be recognized at this time. What you have built in your time at Middle College is an education that goes beyond high school and one that will serve you in life. George Bernard Shaw said, life isn't about finding yourself, it's about creating yourself. And graduates, you've done just that. You've shown tremendous heart and remarkable courage. You've been able to explore the gifts you have and what you can offer the world. You've pushed yourself to achieve academically and in life. There may have been moments of doubt, but the struggles you've experienced now build great strength and resilience for tomorrow. As the progression of life continues, so must the future outlook with new and exciting opportunities. But what you take with you, your education of both the heart and the mind, will be with you no matter where you go or what your future path may hold. We are so proud of you, graduating class of 2019. I would now like to introduce our first speaker, Haley Spinabella.
Good evening, family, friends, faculty, and fellow graduates. The time has finally come, the day we have all been anxiously waiting for. We seniors in front of you have accomplished one of the first major milestones of our lives, high school graduation. We were told to enjoy every moment and not take the time we had for granted, that if we blinked, we'd miss it. Standing here in front of you today, I've never thought something to be so true as that statement. The universal truth is that all things come to an end, and for us, this chapter is closing. And as much as I've looked forward to this day, I have always disliked endings, but endings are inevitable. Although, as this chapter of my life comes to a close, I know I will only have fond memories of the people I was surrounded with and the knowledge I have learned. I would first like to thank the friends and family who have been with me on this journey. Your love and support has been a crucial part of my success, and especially my mom, for always believing in me and being my personal cheerleader on the sidelines. Your faith in me is unwavering, and it makes me feel that I can move mountains. I would not be giving this speech if it wasn't for you. I would also like to thank the Downtons, who gave me the support I needed to push and guide me on the right path. Your family has been a second home to me and a blessing. I will never take for granted the love and kindness you showed me. I can say with great confidence and pride that Middle College has been one of the best decisions I have ever made. This program has helped me grow not just as a student, but as a person. It has taught me about responsibility and has given me the opportunity to spread my wings. Because of Middle College, I have the courage to go after a career I thought I would never excel in. And with the help of faculty and teachers around me, I have now been able to take my first few steps towards my dream career in physical therapy. They gave me a push here and there when I needed it and believed in me when others did not. Without middle college, I would not be the same person standing here in front of you today. A lot of us wouldn't. This is one of the reasons why I don't like endings. Although I am excited to move on to the next chapter of my life, I am sad to be leaving the people who gave me such an amazing opportunity. I am honored and proud to be graduating here tonight with such an outstanding group of people. We have been faced with challenges and experiences that have made us learn and grow stronger as young adults. We have all worked exceedingly hard for this moment. Many of us chose to stay home and study for a big test rather than go out with friends. The work has been worth it. Sitting before you here tonight are students pursuing a vast amount of career fields. I am looking at future auto mechanics, nurses, zoologists, and even a forensic pathologist. Here at Middle College, the possibilities are endless. In this program, we experienced college with training wheels, but now in this next phase of our life, we are taking the training wheels off. We are the ones who get to choose what happens next. As we move on into the real world, I hope we occasionally make mistakes, because if we are making mistakes, we are trying new things, we are learning, changing ourselves, and changing the world around us. This might involve a few bike wrecks, but now we know how to pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and keep on pedaling. So, to the class of 2019, expect a few crashes and mistakes, but always know you can get back up and keep riding. Thank you. I would now like to introduce Angel Carvin.
Before I was born, my parents were going to name me Vanetta. But after a difficult birth, they decided to name me Angel. 18 years ago, my parents were told that if I was to come out breech, that I wouldn't survive. I was born 4 months early, weighing 1 pound, 9 ounces. Not only did I come out underweight, but I also came out breech. I survived even when they said I wouldn't. Growing up, I didn't have much, but one thing I did have was hope. At the end of my sophomore year, I wanted to make the transition to middle college. I came to middle college because I felt like it was a good place and a better environment. I talked to my counselor who said I would do well, and it would be a great experience for me to come to middle college. So I filled out the papers and made the change. Making a change to middle college, I received a lot of Coming to middle college, I have gained many advantages, like being treated like a college student and learning how to take responsibility and getting college credits. I was given the opportunity to participate in an internship where I was able to visit patients, experience cold blues, and get the feel of the medical field. One of the things I love about making a change to middle college is how much support I received from everyone. No matter what I was going through or what I had a problem with, I know I could talk to any of them. The time when Miss Wilson told me to put everyone's problem in a ball and blow it away. So in a time, Mama Shar's encouraging words turned my frustration into happiness. And Miss Loveland's hug and smile on a gloomy day. I appreciate the people at Middle College for believing in me when I didn't believe in myself. I appreciate my parents for telling me I can do anything as long as I try. I appreciate my siblings for sitting down and helping me even when they didn't know what I was doing. And last, I appreciate my friends for encouraging me through everything. I may have came into the world against all odds, tiny and backside first. But thanks to Middle College, I'm entering the world with my best foot first and with hope. I would like to end with a quote by the wise Chris Brown. Have hope, be hope. Have faith, be great. You're special despite what anyone or anything says. Now I would like to introduce Hannah White.
Today, I will do what others won't, so tomorrow I can do what others can't. Every time I'm in the workout room and I see this quote, it constantly reminds me why I wake up every day and accomplish all the things that I know will get me where I need to be. It may seem repetitive now, but one day it will pay off. We will not always want to clean our room, go work out, go to work, or get up for school, but we cannot wait for the feeling to come We have to allow the feeling to come after. When those things are finally done, we will feel rewarded. We have to create a goal and fight to achieve that goal because we are stronger than every obstacle in our way. 2 years ago, I had no idea where I was going to be one day. I was completely lost and had no real hope for my future. I was sitting in the auditorium at my home high school when I first heard about middle college. Typically, I was always out of tune with the information during these assemblies, but this time, I listened up. As soon as it was over, I beelined to the counselor, which I had probably been to twice since I started Glendale, and told her, with no ifs, ands, or buts, I had to be in middle college. I knew that my grades weren't good, my attendance was awful, but the idea sparked a fire in the pit of my stomach. When I came to my interview, I was unsure of what Ms. Wilson would think, but she and I both knew this is where I needed to be. She saw the potential in me, and that is what drove me to do my best. I knew that I had found my next step. Of course, the program itself is amazing, but it's genuinely the people. Nobody has to tell me to do the right things. Everybody does enough just by simply being there. At middle college, people understand, people listen, people care, and more than anything, people want to help. All of us are here for a reason. A lot of times, that reason is because we didn't fit into the regular high school setting. And guess what? That's okay, because we were meant to be here. Most of us can all relate to the fact that we've done a lot better here at OTC. If that's coming to school more often, getting better grades, communicating better, or even just being more organized. Everyone that I've talked to has benefited in some way or another. Some may consider us the misfits, outsiders, or even weirdos. But there is one place we are accepted and we do belong, and that is here. There is no end to what our middle college staff will do for us. They have our backs. They want to be here. They want to talk to us. They want to see us strive. It isn't about them in their eyes. It's about us. And that is dedication that I can honestly say I have never seen anywhere else. The office has been one of my biggest support systems throughout my time here. Without even trying, each one of them can turn a bad mood into a good one. They are always ready to help, no matter what it is. They have never failed to make me feel so special every time I step foot in that office. It doesn't matter to them the trillion things they have going on. They will take the time, and their commitment is noticed every day. When people used to ask me, what do you want to be one day? I was so unsure, almost frightened at the question. But now, thanks to the program, along with the teacher I've had throughout my time here, I know what I want to be. This teacher has inspired me and encouraged me to seek a higher education and go into the journalism field. Now I'm able to confidently answer that question with, I want to be a news reporter. We all have had to face constant battles in our lives, but without those struggles, none of us would be who we are today. So instead of living in the past, wake up tomorrow and accept all the things that have brought you to this point. Decide to put them in the past and start pushing towards the future. I could go on and on about the effect this place has had on me and so many others, but as I only have 3 minutes, I will finish with this. None of us saw us being here, none of us saw it coming, but we knew that we needed to be here, and our instincts were right. Now we are going into college, or even our career, far more prepared than 2 years ago. This is exciting, and we should all take a moment to congratulate ourselves for getting to this point. Through all the long tests, the 8-hour school days, the gym classes, the essays, and the equations, we have made it!
Good evening. My name is Matt Hudson. I am the Executive Dean of Career, Technical, and Community Development at OTC. And it is my distinct privilege to be able to have the first, which I hope is of many tonight, to present to you students who have received an Associate of Arts or will receive an Associate of Arts degree. We've come to a point in our society where all students will need some sort of post-secondary education or training for our future workforce. Every student graduating tonight has had college coursework and training in a career field. But there are 4 students that have managed to accomplish an educational feat that no other Springfield students have attained. They are graduating with an Associate of Arts from OTC while also graduating from high school at the same time. The amount of time, dedication, and perseverance they have shown is remarkable. I would like to recognize these 4 students now, beginning first of all with Alex Carlson. Alex is planning on studying mechanical engineering and is attending Truman State in the fall, and he will graduate with an Associate of Art tomorrow evening. Next is Jacob Downton. Jacob is planning on studying forensic pathology and is also attending Truman State in the fall. Next is Cora Grimm. Cora's plans are to become a dentist, and she is attending Missouri State beginning this fall. And Neela Sab. Neela is going to study biology and chemistry at the University of St. Louis. I know you've clapped a lot, but this is a huge accomplishment, so please join me in giving this dedicated and motivated group of students another round of applause.
Hello, I'm Kelly Akers, Director of the Career Center. 6 students will be recognized for excellence in their career field. Angel Carvin. She is returning to OTC to study nursing and wants to work as a registered nurse. Mallory Holloman. Mallory has completed her certificate in construction and is returning to finish her degree path in construction. Catherine Hubbard is returning to OTC to study nursing. Yay. Nora Jolly is returning to OTC and wants to work as a counselor. Haley Spinabella. Haley is returning to OTC to work on completing a transfer degree and studying physical therapy. Yay. Laura Spinabella. Laura is returning to OTC to complete her studies in EMP and then a transfer degree. Please give these accomplished, dedicated, and hardworking students a hand.
Good evening. My name is Amy Bacon. I serve as the Executive Director for the OTC Foundation. Every year, excuse me, the Foundation works with generous donors to provide scholarships for OTC students. The Middle College has benefited from the generosity of our community, and tonight I am excited to represent the scholarships used to support Middle College graduates. The Holston Family Foundation has provided scholarships for students in the Middle College that are working towards completing a certificate or degree and have shown academic excellence. We have 4 recipients to recognize for the Holston Family Foundation scholarships. Desmond Ford. Dominic Prock. Logan Stoles. And Hannah White. All of these students are returning to OTC in the fall and plan to study computers, networking, medicine, and journalism. Please give them a round of applause. Ted Andrews Memorial Scholarship was created to recognize a student who exemplified qualities of integrity, loyalty, and serving others. This year's recipient of the Ted Andrews Memorial Scholarship is Ellie Powell. Ellie is completing her Associate of Arts degree and wants to study to be an orthodontist. The Jim Frank Memorial Scholarship was endowed to recognize the qualities of hard work, dedication, and perseverance. This year's recipient of the Jim Frank Memorial Scholarship is Xanda Reisinger. Xanda is returning to OTC to study biology and plans on pursuing her bachelor's degree in nursing. Congratulations to each of these recipients.
Each year, we are proud to recognize an outstanding business or community partner who has demonstrated an exemplary commitment and an invaluable contribution to our middle college students. These partners work with us in innovative ways to address the unique characteristics of our population and to bring about lasting solutions that provide opportunity for all. Education has long been a priority for this year's award recipient. They realize that graduation is a cornerstone to success in life and benefits the entire community. They have generously provided funding for 2 of our learning labs at the Middle College. These learning labs provide vital support and help to ensure all student success. So at this time, please join me in recognizing this year's Community Partner of the Year, the United Way of the Ozarks. Jill Finney will be receiving this honor for the United Way. Thank you and congratulations.
Good evening. I'm Sunshine Loveland, the senior counselor. At this time, I would like to welcome Dr. Chance Wistrom, Superintendent of Public Schools, to join our Chancellor, Dr. Hal Higdon, and begin the presentation of diplomas. Carmen Nicole Bull. Jared Dwight Mount. Tiana Lene Smith. Sydney K. Tackett. Emily Nicole White. I would like to welcome Dr. Sean Randall, Superintendent at Logan Rogerville Schools. Nathan Clay Rector. Krista May Wessler. I would like to welcome Dr. John Jugman, Superintendent of Springfield Public Schools. Rowan Adsit. Benjamin Michael Andrews. Chloe Lynn Andrus. Jatim Bolinge. Alex Wade Carlson. Angel Deanna Carvin. Heavenly Star Chapman. Natalie Lynn Davison. Jacob Michael Downton. Andrea Brooke Ebert. Cheyenne Mackenzie Endicott. Courtney Finley. Desmond Lucas Ellis Ford. Elizabeth Marie Wavell Fitzhugh. Gabriella Jasmine Gaddy. Amanda Joy Green. Emma Grace Gravelis. Cora Pearl Grimm. Mercedes Ann Marie Hale. Dylan Michael Haynes. Amelia Grace Hansen. Jasmine Elena Harris. Kiara Danielle Hicks. Mallory Holloman. Mark Marshall Hoover. Catherine Ann Hubbard. Xana Rain Hunt. Brianna Lynn Hunter. Madison Ann Johnson. Nora Rosendu Jolly. Alexis Nicole Jones. Shakira Lachey Jones. Victoria Samadini Juarez Lopez. Ethan Andrew Kirk. Keith Allen Lane. Heather Lee Lawrence. Erica Laredo. Jasmine Marquis Lynn. Sarah Felicity Manuel. Hannah Jo May Moore. Brianna Casey Pettigrew. Melissa Rose Phillips. Alicia Storm Pennell. Alexis Patricia Victoria Powell. Dominic Michael Prock. Xander Redden. Dante Leron Reese. Xanda Kelly Reisinger. Jasmine Rosales. Mila Sab. Jesselyn Aubrey Sanders. Quinn William Scott. Haley Renee Spinabella. Laura Taylor Spinabella. Anthony David Stark. Logan Kimberly Stoltz. Kelly Andrew Patrick Wayne Stone. Spencer Stringer. Chandler Allen Taylor. Cassidy Ann Wages. Ariana Lee Walker Stone. Chance Ashton Wampler. Nichelle Renee Watts. Hannah Elizabeth White. And Brad Young.
Students, please rise. I hereby declare and confirm you have met your high school graduation requirements. As a symbol of your achievement, please move your tassels to the left and face your family, friends, and supporters. I present to you the middle college class of 2019.